guys, and welcome to my channel. If you are new, my name is Adrian and Kiwi is my Indian ring neck. So I have been doing a lot of batch recording lately, and this video is a little overdue. It's another frog it or finish it video. I have a ton of projects sitting in front of me. Most of which are Amigurumi, and I would love to hear from you guys as to which ones I should finish. I've already there's two of them that I already scrapped, and I was like, I'm not going to finish these. They're just not something I want to do anymore. But I have a ton of others here, and this ball of yarn, and I'm not sure why this ball of yarn is here because I couldn't find anything that it would go to. So there's that. And it definitely came from the thrift store because the thrift store likes to put tape on the yarn and it bugs me, and yeah, there's that. In fact, I might sit here and try to peel it off, maybe. If it'll come off. I don't know. It's masking tape. Maybe it won't be too bad. Well, it's coming off pretty easy. For the most part. Yeah, it's coming off pretty easy. It's not leaving a residue. I thought for sure it'd leave a residue. So every now and then I do these frog it or finish it videos. Mostly because I really enjoy making wearables. I hope that's not a bug crawling underneath my shirt. I really enjoy making wearables, and I try to fit in as many of them as I can. But for the majority of the time, I make amigurumi for the theme park that I work at. So, and then some of those amigurumis get put to the side. Look at that. That's not too bad, considering. And I don't feel any residue or anything like that. So most of these have been sitting like a year or more. And I guess I'm just going to start off randomly with this one. This one is labeled Jointed Fox Pattern Brava Sport 2.5 millimeter hook. And it's got the yarn in it. It looks like most of the parts are in there. Either that or it's more than one fox. It may be more than one fox. Because it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4... 4 limbs, a tail, and a body. It actually looks like, and some ears. There's at least one ear in there. This one might only need one little ear. So I am going to throw that back in the basket. These guys here, I ran out of yellow for. They're sunflower babies. And I will link the pattern for these little guys. It's from a YouTube channel. It's a YouTube tutorial. And you can see I wrapped the yarn that I was going to use to sew the little hat on with. I ran out of yellow for these guys. But, let's see, what does it say? It says a 3.5 millimeter hook for the cap. But all of them have caps already, so... See, some of these have been sitting for so long that I can't even read what the label was on them. I think it's a 3 millimeter hook for the rest of it, but the cap was a 3.5 millimeter. And I actually have 3 of them made. I've got 3 of these little guys made, and I just need the yellow, which, you know, since these guys have definitely been sitting over a year because I've got yellow right there. And I use this yarn here, and so I definitely could go back and finish these guys. So I'm going to put that in the keep pile. Y'all, let me know what you guys think of these projects. Let's see. This one is labeled Sloss 3.5 millimeter hook. It's definitely, it looks like I started more than one. Yeah, because there's a sloth head, and one body. So, yeah. And it looks like I was using Red Heart Super Saver and the colorway buff for these. The ones that are labeled, I'm probably going to keep. I don't have a problem keeping those because I know what I was using and I can come back to them as soon as I have some time. At some point I'll finish those sloths, probably, maybe. This one is a Calico Cat by Jess Huff, and it's made with mint, gray, and like a pale purple color. For some reason, I did not write down what hook size I was using, which I thought when I was looking at these, I thought that maybe the hook was in the bag, but it's not. And if I had to guess, I would say that I was probably using a 3mm hook. So here's what that one looks like. See, he's got mint, and then he's got the gray, and then predominantly he is that pale purple color. But yeah, that is actually a pattern by Jess Huff, and she's got 3 different cat patterns, I believe. And I started this, I don't know, sometime after. It was right when she first released these patterns, but you can see where I stopped on the leg. I think those are the only 2 pieces that I have in here, is the head and one leg. But if I had to guess, I would say probably a 3mm hook, because I usually use a 3mm or a 3.5mm hook. This yarn is also this yarn back here. So this one is labeled Dodo Bird 3.5mm. And to be honest, I don't really see very many pieces finished. I think I only did the head. So I think what the deal was with this one. So here's what the head looks like, and of course he's got fluffy. I remember why I stopped on this one. I made the head and 2 of the wings. And if you look at the wing, this second wing here, you can tell that what I did was I crocheted it all in the back loop, and then I was taking and slip stitching this fuzzy mohair to give it that fuzzy look, and it was working out really well right up until I lost the ball of mohair. I don't know where it went, haven't a clue, can't find it anywhere, and it never did turn up. But you can see it's nice and fuzzy and fluffy. I don't know. This one, I really, really like this guy, the way he turned out. I love the way his head turned out. And I really think that he, in general, would have turned out amazing had I not lost that yarn. I don't have any idea where I could have put that yarn at. Can see where I started to slip stitch the fuzzy in. I don't know. I'm gonna hold on to this one specifically because you never know. I might have something that might work. It looks like I was using Wool Ease for the base color in the color navy, and some I Love This yarn, or no, some Red Heart with Love for the beak and legs. I'm gonna have to probably see. I don't like mohair typically. I might have to. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. This project may end up getting scrapped simply because I can't find a comparable yarn to the one that I started slip stitching with. And if you know anything about mohair, you know that these slip stitches are not coming out. That being said, there's also this in the bag, which is just for this part. Maybe, I don't know, maybe his toes are this color. I don't know what else was supposed to be this color. I haven't looked at this pattern for a long time. It was a paid pattern on Etsy. So I do still have it. I don't know. I would hate to have to scrap this guy simply because I can't find like a fluffy mohair type yarn. I know this was mohair. I just have no clue where it went. There may be in the hallway. I'll check the hallway and see if that yarn shelf, maybe there might be some in there. I'm sorry guys, some of this I'm thinking out loud. Let me know what you think of my little dodo bird though, because I was really proud of him when I made him, or when I made the head, and then I don't know what happened. So these are labeled 3.5 millimeter Odinka flamingos, and it's only heads. I don't know what happened, but apparently I got bored with making flamingos because it's just the head. Both of them are just heads. I do still have plenty of this color. That is a matter of me just doing that. You know, deciding I want to make a pink flamingo. So there's not really much to that one. Let's see. This one is labeled Cockatoo 2 millimeter hook Brava Sport. I don't know for sure. I've got a beak and a body here. And one wing. So I got a body and a beak. And one wing. And what's left of some Brava Sport. Which I think I have more of somewheres. Not entirely sure why I stopped making this one. Maybe I had something else come up. But it is labeled, so I'm going to go ahead and keep it for the moment. Let's see. This one is a pug that I started like a year and a half ago. The pattern is by Sweet Oddity Art. There is a moth in this bag. I don't know how there's a moth in the bag, but there is. This little pug face. And I was originally going to make this for my boss at the time. Looks like I've got the head. Not sure what that is. Ears, a body. What is this? He already has a nose, so what is this? I don't know. But at the time, I was supposed to go to my boss, and then shortly thereafter, I ended up not working there anymore, and then the whole bar closed down, and it looks like I was using vintage yarns. Looks like I stopped right around, I guess this was probably supposed to be a leg. It doesn't say what hook size I was using, though, so this may get frogged. Y'all let me know what your opinion is on the pug. Should I frog it or finish it? I haven't a clue what size hook I started with. If I had to guess, I would say maybe a 3mm. And it looks like I was using some vintage acrylic. The brand is Cresslin. That's the cream color. And then this darker color doesn't even have a label. So I was using some vintage yarns on this pug. And I don't know how much further. There's at least 3 more legs that I have to make. And probably a tail. I don't know what this is. Because his ears are right here. So I've got 2 pug ears and a pug body and a part of a pug leg. I don't have any idea what this could be. So I've got 3 legs and a tail at least that need to be made. And then I will have to be trying to figure out some extra yarn. Let me know what you guys think about the pug. Should I frog it or finish it? Because that one, I have no idea what hook size to. I mean, I would try working it with a 3mm. That's probably the one I would most likely go with. All right, so this giant guy here, you guys should recognize this pattern. This is a Goober the Goblin pattern. I recently made up a couple of these. I know you guys have seen the purple one, the black one, and I do have another green one down there that needs to be sewn, or at least at the time of filming this, it still needs to be sewn. The difference between this guy and those guys is, for this one, I used Red Heart Super Saver with 2 strands held together and a 6mm hook. And most likely the reason I stopped is I ran out of the camo yarn. But since then I have acquired several skeins of it. It looks like I ran out right around the time that I started his arms. So there's only the head, the body, and 1 arm started. I'm not opposed to finishing this guy out. The one thing I am a little disappointed in, this one's dusty because he didn't fit in the bag. I made this early on when I first started making amigurumi regularly, and so there are a few spots right around the neck area where you can see the stuffing a little bit. He's a little bit overstuffed, which happened because I didn't want his head to be wobbly, and it never, at that time, I didn't know to like stick something in the neck to keep it from being wobbly. So this guy ended up being overstuffed, and the stitches are stretched a little bit. He is quite dusty because he's been sitting over there for probably the better part of 2 years. But I did finally get more. His fat head doesn't let him go in the bag. Can't zip him up. But I'm not opposed to finishing this guy out. Let me know what you guys think about finishing Goober the Goblin out. In the meantime, I'm going to set him in a different location so that he's not going to continue to get all dusty. Plus, I've got lots of dust all over my clothes. I've got a ton of this Red Heart Super Saver camo now. So this could probably go on the shelf with the others that I have. 3 more projects, guys. 3 more projects. I'm trying to get through them as fast as I can. So this is a pair of slippers. Some of you may remember a series that I was doing called Slipper Sunday. And for those of you that aren't familiar with it, I will put a little card up here so that you guys can check that out. Someday I may go back to doing the Slipper Sunday. Anyways, so the last pair of slippers that I made were these pink Triceratops slippers. And I made all of the pieces and never bothered to sew the pieces on for the second pair, or for the second slipper. I just did enough for the last video that I worked on. So you can see, like, this one doesn't have all the face and the, you know. So, I don't know. Should I go ahead and finish this pair up? I do have all of the pieces. I'll have to find some black buttons for the eyes. But, should I frog it or finish it? Let me know. It is labeled that says that I am using a 4.5 millimeter and a 5 millimeter. However, it looks like all the pieces are there. It just needs to be sewn together. So it may have been finished out before, or I may have labeled it before I ever even got that far. I don't have any nieces anymore that are small enough that would fit those slippers. They all got giant kid feet. Okay, second to last one. This one is a Baphomet. It's also one of the few that I did not label. And I looked and looked and hoped that maybe there was a hook inside, and could not find the hook inside. Now, this is also another one where the bag, I couldn't close the bag because the pieces were too big. But the original pattern for this is makes like a life-size Baphomet. But I used, I think, like maybe a 3 millimeter hook to shrink her down. I don't know if Baphomet's a boy or a girl. I know that it's a weird little occult doohickey, and I think that's its butt, which means its head will go this way. I think that's probably his bum. And I got the horns finished. This is probably a snout. And this looks like the first, I think it might be an arm. This might be an arm. And 2 ears. And lots of hair from my head. I'm pretty sure this is where I stopped. It was on the arm. But I don't know how I feel about this pattern. I don't know how I feel about this project, to be honest. But I do have most of the pieces finished. And I'm pretty sure I made it with a 3mm hook, just because of how small it is. If I had to guess, and again, it's made with this yarn here, and in fact, that yellow is the same yellow that I used to make these horns. So I've got plenty of yarn. I think I just set it down because I got bored with it. That's what I think this one's deal is that it just got boring. And also, I know that I was making it for Scream Hollow. I probably won't make any more of these for Scream Hollow because of the size. Like, once the stuffed animals get a certain size, people don't want to pay the asking price. So probably I won't make another one of these. I might finish this one out. Maybe. Y'all let me know give me opinions on the Baphomet. But I probably won't make one this size for Scream Hollow again. If I do, it'll be a rarity. You know, it'll be something that I make to catch people's attention, but not really to expect people to buy. Because the bigger the item, yeah, that's going to catch people's attention, but most likely they're not going to buy that big item. They're going to purchase one of the smaller items instead. So that's what this guy will probably end up turning out to be. So my last project that I have in this giant basket is a pink armadillo, is what it is. And I have the head and the ears and the body made. I got head, ears, and body. It's in an HEB bag, so it's not labeled. Again, I was looking for, you know, a hook and did not come across one. It looks like, okay, so I started making one of the feet. Excuse me. And it's pink and gray. So I got some pink in the gray. And then I have this. And I'm not entirely sure what the intention was for this particular yarn or why it's in this bag. I don't know if I was maybe planning on incorporating it with the armadillo somehow, or if it just got thrown in the bag, because I've got some over here. This it's Patton's Croy Socks is what it is, and the colorway is called Eclipse Stripes, and I have a bunch of this that I got on sale over here. Now, I don't knit socks or anything like that. A lot of times I use it for other stuff, but I'm confused as to why I would pick a striped yarn to go on a pink armadillo. Again, probably this is going to be a 3mm hook. This yarn has a recommended hook size of 3.25, so I may have been using like a 2.5 for this particular project. I don't know. But look at that little cute little armadillo nose. I know armadillos don't oink or whatever, but that's what it reminds me of. Anyways, guys, so those are my unfinished projects. Well, my unfinished amigurumi projects. Let me know what you think about the armadillo as well. See, maybe I can, like, I don't know, I guess I could, like, try a 2.5mm hook. Because I feel like this being in the bag means that it was probably meant to go with this project. But I probably would have used a much, at least bare minimum, I would have gone down a size. I mean, this recommends a 3.25mm hook. I mean, I would expect myself to go down to at least a 2.5, maybe a 2. I mean, that's what I think in my head. I guess I could try it. I don't know. Y'all, give me some opinions. Let me know what you think. I'm going to read all of you guys' comments and thoughts and whatnot and take those into consideration as far as which ones I keep, which ones I get rid of, whether or not I try to finish out ones like this that I don't know the hook size on. I can't believe, like, for the most part, I'm pretty good about labeling the hook size, but it's hard to finish an amigurumi project when you don't know what hook size you started out with. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I am going to let you go for now. Like I said, give me your thoughts, and I will take it all into consideration when it comes to all of these unfinished projects. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!